Three Guys Many Games, post Lake Placid edition. I'm Steve Sombrato. I'm here with my dear brother Vinny Sombrato and Mr. Chaminade, Rob Smalley. He's back. He's
We're
back.
back, baby. We're
But
back for
you're
another
back.
episode.
But it was a big week. There's a lot going on. And I know we haven't been on in a while, but I wanted to get Smalley up to date because Vinny and Smalley didn't make it up to Placid. And it was a tremendous, tremendous week. And I can't express how much fun and how many people talked about our Instagram, the podcast, and just overall lacrosse and what we're doing. We don't even know what we're doing, but whatever we're doing, people seem to be enjoying it. So from that perspective, it was nice to hear and get that feedback. But a lot of people up there were saying, "Where is Mr. Chaminade? Where is Smalley?"
Well,
All
yes.
week.
I really missed it. And then I had Jimmy Muley going up there, who I'll give him a shout out. He three-peated. He went up there representing 91. He loves going up there with the whole family. And I heard you guys had a ball, and I was dying. I figured Vinny was at least going. I got my wife's birthday and my daughter's birthday. It killed me this year. And I really missed it. I do miss it. I do miss Tillman. I do miss Joe Corolla and all his kids. You know, his beautiful daughter and his son. They really have a good time up there, and it's I call it Wonderland. You know, it's really a nice place.
Well,
The weather was nice, right?
it's interesting the way it's evolved. Jimmy first asked me to go. It was 1995. I hadn't realized it was the first year John Pappas ever sent the team up there. It was 1995, and it was a Caniac Park All-Star team of guys, and that was the tournament then was only 16 open teams. There was 16 teams. They had a bracket. They did have the 16 open teams, and they had some masters teams because I remember Brendan Schneck was playing with the Sailing Shoe, and all of those original shoe guys were playing a master. And at the time, I think it was like 33 and over, maybe. And that has evolved. Like they have, I mean, it's amazing what the Lavelles have done, and now obviously the
Yeah.
PLL's involved with it. But they have like every year they do something a little bit better. Like this year's big thing, if I'm going to say, I'm being honest, they were all over the parking situation. They had people all over that parking lot directing people. Like there was no massive craziness with the parking.
That's good.
That was
They
good.
had people everywhere. So I'm like, whatever there's a problem, they address it. They get right on it, and and they had it figured out. They had everybody parking better. People could walk. I mean, still it's a lot of cars, but they manage it with the schedule. They were really good. I mean, obviously weather impacted some things because it did rain. You know, the beginning of the week, you never know what you're going to get up there. You're in the mountains. Sometimes it's, sunny, and then all of a sudden it's torrential downpour, and then it's sunny 10 minutes later. So they managed around the schedules. When it was really heavy rain one morning, they pushed everything back, and we started a little later, which made a big difference. It actually was much better to play. So they always, Kevin Lavelle, you got to give him credit, and all of the people that are involved in the scheduling and doing the tournament. They just do an unbelievable job at it. They're probably the best to do it. They have their routine down, and it
So
just gets
Lake
better
Placid was
every
a
year.
big hit again. That's another big hit. Any of those families want to go up there for the fans? You want to go up to Lake Placid and have the most wonderful time to relax with your family. It's like God's country. The weather is unbelievable, like that. So
Well, and then you got the way they're scheduling it out, Smalls. They got the high school kids are playing on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. The geezers are coming in and playing Wednesday afternoon, Thursday,
yeah,
and Friday, and then the younger college guys and younger divisions are coming in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they have it all scheduled out to
right.
to perfection in terms of how they keep a very very busy week. So and they got a lot of teams, a lot of activity. The town is bustling. The restaurants are packed. It's just a great environment.
So
Well,
John Tillman's
but the
Thursday night, he
fans,
has that big party, right? It was great, right, Stephen?
The what?
John Tillman's party.
Yeah. So Thursday night, that's typically the night, but we even went over Wednesday and
Oh, you
Thursday
went
night.
Wednesday too. Wow.
Yeah, we were, you know, it was, he had a lot of people over. He's got that big house, and it was a lot of fun. And Matt Kerwick, we were playing, dice games. It was fun. The guys were having fun. It was really, really good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's the only.
Except Joe's daughter was looking for Smalley.
Yeah, I was dying. I wanted to make
yeah,
it up. Like I said, it's unbelievable. I miss it. It's great. I went up last year with my wife Cheryl. It was amazing. Just a
yeah,
really
they were looking
relaxing
for a little
time.
swag. They were hoping for some swag this year again, But all right, next year's another year. You're talking a lot about what it was like, but you didn't give us the bottom line, Stephen. Sailing shoe. Did you win?
So yeah, we had this year they bumped up to a new division to the 55 and over. By the way, 55 and over, 16 teams in the division. Full packed division.
Wow.
And it was a great it was a great time. I mean, we won the 4 games. Our defense was stacked. You had Pat was down there, and Gebhardt was the goalie, and Danny Pratt, and Sean Quinn, and I mean the Poles. We were just very, very tough to score on. So I don't think we gave up more than 3 goals in a game for the week in the 4 games, and and we did enough on offense to do it. Joe Corello didn't make the end of the tournament. He pulled his groin.
What?
Yeah, he got hurt.
Don't make that up. Come on.
No, he did. He got hurt, and he couldn't play the last. I think he didn't play
What did he
like
pull? His hamstring or his groin?
his groin. He said.
My
And so guys
God.
were going down like crazy. So I did have the privilege. I also played in the 50 with the Cornell Big Red Steelheads. They're a little bit of the younger group under where the Rusty Red was. Great guys, fantastic guys. Chris Danler. Some of them played with the Rusty Red a little bit in Florida, but they were a little bit short-handed, and guys were going down by the game. We lost to the Boston guys, North Shore, who ended up winning, and by the end of that game, there was like 11 guys on the bench ready to play. We didn't even have a substitute by the end of that game. So,
Steven, how'd
you
you
know,
do? Because you were all pumped up going. You on this big weight loss program. You got down to under 200. You
well,
started at
I'll
220.
tell you, I'll tell you this. I played midfield a
You
lot
lost
for the
20 pounds.
Steelheads. I was able to play midfield in those 3 games that I played with the Steelheads. I played attack with the Shoe. I was beat up. I was hurting.
Did you win MVP? I was.
No. Brian Silcott played amazing in the last game. He had like 3 goals, got us going. I don't go to play for MVP Smalls. I go to win. That's what I do. I go to win the game. That's
You
what matters.
want to win and get the MVP.
Listen, I want to play well. I don't think I played my best, but I don't think I played my worst.
Well,
by
that was
far.
your goal. Let me ask you a question. Did you reach all your goals? That's all.
Well, I didn't reach all my goals because I wanted to win with the Steelheads also, and I think we could have won, but we fell a little bit short. Like I said, we ran out of guys. That's
like
sometimes
Fitty,
the biggest thing. No, you run. Listen, I think I didn't get to see Vinny's division Garbers play, but I think they might have had the same kind of issue. Some guys going down, and it gets down, low scoring game, and they lost like a 1-goal game in the semifinals, I think. But
Yeah.
these things, like one thing I will say for the Shoe in the first couple games, you see, by the last game there was 30 to 35% less guys by the last game. Some guys leave, some guys can't stay for the whole week. Some guys are hurt. It's just the Shoe is smart because they come out. Next thing you know, that first game you got there's 28 guys there. By the last game, there's 17.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's definitely a war of attrition. That's the nature
Right.
of the beast. And as you get up, as you go older into the next older divisions, it gets tougher and tougher because you definitely lose people along the way. So, but yeah, the whole thing is about surviving and being able to play well at the end and have at least enough in the tank to try to win the championship. But listen,
I'm gonna
it's
we got a guest. We got a guest tonight. We're gonna talk science, and I'm gonna let him in right now. Let's get him in here. There he is. No bull. It's no bull.
I can see a
It's
face.
Ronnie
There
Nader.
he is, Ronnie Nader.
He's made it.
Ronnie Nader's in the
Let's
house.
give him a hand. Let's give him a hand. Thank you. I love the shirt. Cheers. So
And he's
we're
looking
on right
jacked
now,
up.
Ronnie.
Look at him, he's jacked.
He is.
Smalley, that man's jacked.
So
I love it. I love the shirt. I got a whole package from Mike Rapoli at the. I sit courtside at the St. John's games. Every year I go to the golf planet. I got so much gear, backpacks. I got about 25 shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, all kinds of noble. I love the apparel line. He bought the company.
Yeah.
Mike Rapoli bought it last year. He bought Noble. How long have you had the shirt?
Oh man, I branded these, by the way. I don't know if you can see that, but I branded these. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. But yeah, so these are the best. These are the best apparel clothing around.
Yeah, he's got the best quality t-shirts. No doubt about that.
Sure.
You know?
So Ronnie Nader is a long-time Long Island lacrosse guy. You know, I've been meaning to have him on. He's a teammate of mine out at the North Shore Lacrosse Club in Massapequa when we play. And one of the things why we want to really have him on is he's going to have to help Smalley, because Smalley is I wouldn't say it's a health crisis, but we're always looking out for each other, and we want to always we want to keep Smalley around for a very, very long time. And he sees me and Vin losing a little bit of weight, and you know, he might need a little help along the way. So I had brought it up to him because I said to him, a number of guys on North Shore, I'm like, or a number of guys that I've been running into, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, look at how good this guy looks. And they're like, yeah, Ronnie, I was dealing with Ronnie and his company and the peptides. And I think the biggest question, Ronnie, before we even get into peptides, let's go back. I want to talk a little bit about lacrosse.
Yeah.
So you're originally an East Meadow guy, right?
Merrick.
Close
enough.
Merrick. But you were always around those East Meadow guys all the time.
Yeah, ever since when I played at Nassau, I became really good friends with Jay Denneker, and he, you know, that whole crew is pretty tight in East Meadow, so you get all the ages above and below, and then you all become pretty good friends when you have a lot of common interests, you know?
Right, and the Muleys.
You went to Calhoun? Did
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
to Calhoun?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
What year did you graduate? I know Calhoun. What year did you graduate?
94.
I think Dave Palumbo went around that.
That name sounds
I don't know if
familiar.
he
I
went to
have
Calhoun.
there's 3 more tiers above me. My next brother is 4 years older than me. My sister's 6 years older than me, and my brother's 10 years older than me. From 68,
Yeah, that whole crew.
from 84, 5, all the way every couple of years there was one of us going through that school.
And how old's the oldest?
60, just turned 60.
Wow, yeah.
So after Nassau, you went straight to Hartford?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I was trying to figure out what was best for me, and but the dreams of grandeur was trying to go to a bigger Division I school, and I had an opportunity to, but the financial situation at home, my father had just retired from his job. He didn't have, you know, the buku bucks that he was willing to spend for school, and you know, I made the choice basically on financial decision, and it was the best fit for the time, and you know, it was a great opportunity to go play under Jack McGettrick for a couple of years, and get the Division I life, and you know, small Division I. Believe me, it was small, but my first year there, we played some really good competition, and we were ranked at one point, and then not ranked.
It's interesting because I think people might forget that Hartford, because they don't have a team now, right?
They since went D3 as of last
So they
year.
went
Yeah, they had
D3.
1 year where they were off, and then they had to go to they went to D3.
Yeah, because they had some great teams. There was some teams that were very very good there. I know a guy. I don't know if you played with him because I played with him in box. Brian Bending
Yeah, Brian.
played.
Yeah,
I believe he was that hard.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a great
Brian was
player.
my roommate.
So they had really really good players.
Well,
So
one of the things Jack was pretty good at it because he knew he wasn't going to get the top talent, especially in Long Island, is that he went after the JUCO kids. So half the team,
Right.
were JUCO kids. I'm now goalie. My first year there was Chris LaMonica, one of the best goalies I've ever played with, and top 5,
That's right,
6 amongst a lot
LaMonica
of
too,
people.
right?
Yeah, I mean Joey
Exactly.
Brock was supposed to come, but he went up there for a week or two and didn't like it, so he left. But there's a lot of people that have come and gone out of there, mostly JUCO kids that actually, we came in there with a passion for lacrosse and came in as a good experience, and we were ready to go. And all the younger kids, the freshmen and sophomores, had someone to look up to right away, and we had pretty good leadership. I mean, Koleski, Tracy Koleski is one of the guys.
yeah,
out of
Tracy
Hartford, too.
Kaluski, another right, Western Canada.
Yep.
Exactly, another
Yeah.
great buy. He had the inroads to the Canadian players for sure. He definitely
Yeah, I mean,
did.
Johnny Grant was coming. What's his name?
Right.
Delaware wouldn't release him because he wanted to go play with Tracy. And I forgot
Right.
the coach at Delaware, Schnellenberg. Does that sound familiar?
Schillinglaw.
Schillinglaw. So he
Schillinglaw.
wouldn't release him. So Johnny Grant Jr. Was supposed to come play with us my senior year to be with Tracy Koleski, but he wouldn't let him go, which is obviously a no-brainer. But yeah,
That's a really good team.
yeah,
LaMonica was a USA team player, right?
yep. LaMonica was probably
I
to
think
me,
Chris LaMonica
him,
was a
Catrano,
goalie on the
for
US
my
team
age.
in
Yeah.
02.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys stood out to me as one of the best 2, 3 goalies I've ever seen play the game. That's in my experience. Obviously, you guys have some legends. Mule's a legend. There's a bunch of others, but between him and Catrano and my time frame, those two were top notch.
Well, Ronnie came across my screen when really it was more Caniac. Like I'd say, who's this Hoffman kid? He's good. Like, who is this guy? Where'd this guy come from?
And then you took me up to Placid.
I think you. Right, and then that's right. Then we got him up to Placid because he was in that whole Mule crew. You played a lot of times with the Hooters teams that he used to have, right?
Absolutely.
And in Placid we used to. You definitely were on that last team. I know we were even rooming together, and we won that last year. We beat. I forget who we beat. Maybe the Sail and Shoe and the Powells were on that team right before the MLL started.
Yes.
So, I mean, those were legendary trips.
You got to look at it for me,
game.
man. I had an opportunity to. Obviously, I was friends with you at the time, but think of the legends that I got to walk on the field with, and I was just the guy that, hey, go get that ground ball and go get up and down the field and give it to me, and then get out the field, And then it turned into being more of a player, but. I played with legends up there. I think Paul and Gary were on a team one year with De Beer, and I was amazed when I was younger.
It's funny because I think that's one of the things of why we had some success, and it's a little bit when we had success with Long Island was the same thing, is that we always managed to figure what roles guys could play on a team, and we always had some tough, scrapping guys, maybe guys that weren't totally well known, but they were hard-nosed, scrappy type guys who could always make plays like yourself. Yeah. And that's the secret. That's like sometimes the secret to winning championships is having those guys. Those guys bring you over the top.
That second, third layer of scoring and playmaking ability brings you to the next level. Just like, in hockey, when it comes down to the playoffs, it's your third line and fourth line are the grinders that make it happen, not the top lines. They get taken out of the game a little bit. But, yeah, those are some...
Like another guy who was up in Placid who was always like that, like he was because he came from a smaller school, not well known until he started really really playing, but he's up there still running around like crazy. Joe Brock. Joe Brock was always able to do a lot of things for us, and I love Joe Brock. He's fun to be around, and he was a great player, a great passer. He's still doing it, running around. I saw him doing his thing. And he always had good tournaments up
Yeah.
there, and the people would again be turning their head like,
Who
"Who
is
is
this
this
guy?"
guy?
Right,
You know,
yeah.
where'd this guy come from?" They don't even know who he is, but he's doing damage out there.
Yep.
You know,
Was he up there this year?
he was up there.
Yeah,
They
he
up
was.
they lost. They've lost to the same team 2 years in a row in the last game. This time, I think by a goal. You know, they had a great team. That team that they play with, Joe Brock, is like a mixture of all the Massapequa teams that play in the league out in Massapequa. It's like it's you know, a lot of guys that we're familiar with, you know, from playing down there.
What age
And
group
they had a
is
great
that,
team.
Steven?
That was
What age group
45
is it?
gold. Yeah,
45.
45 gold. Yeah, and it was they didn't have a big division, but the teams were very, very good. You know.
Yeah.
You know, one of the guys. Now I'm going to mention him. I'm going to give him a shout out because I've never seen him play so good and look so good at the same time. So a few weeks before Placid, I'm playing a game out in Massapequa, and Chris Babb, who went to Adelphi, I'm in the game. I'm saying, who is this new guy? I go, we got a new guy? Who's this new guy flying around? He's buzzing around all over the place. And they go, no, that's Babb. I go, that's Babb. I grab him on the side. I go, holy cow! What? How much? How much did you lose? He's like, I think he said he lost between 30 and 40. You know, I said 40. Oh my God! I said, how did you do it? He says, Nada. I said, oh. I said, I got to know more about this. I go, the news of this has got to get out. We got to understand what Smalley. This is what we need for Smalley.
Yeah.
Listen, besides playing lacrosse, he doesn't do a lot of gym stuff, which is pretty impressive because at the end of the day, these peptides work. You know, I'm living proof of it every day, and there's so many options out there. But the more popular ones for him, you know, the weight loss and the fat loss and the recovery and the healing. I mean, put it together, and you really don't have to. I'm not going to preach this, but you don't have to do this. You don't have to go to the gym every day. Perfectly, these things kind of like work in a fashion that it makes you understand how to have a relationship with food. A couple of these, but the rest do their job. I mean, you're going to burn fat. It's sitting still without realizing you're doing it. But he's one of those guys that got on a plan after he saw me. And then, a couple of them are following. Like, Luce looks amazing. I mean, most of us, when you're on it for 3-4 months, I can honestly say this now. It's been 8 months now. I'm in better shape now. I feel the best I've ever felt. I think I look the best I've ever looked since I was 20 years old. And now I'm 50 now.
Wow.
And I'm 10% body fat.
The pharmaceutical company.
They don't like that.
The pharmaceutical companies don't want to hear that.
It.
That's it. They're trying to wipe the peptides off the market.
Because they want people to eat shitty American food with terrible ingredients.
Yes.
Become obese. Go see a doctor. Take medicine. Have side effects. Go back to the doctor, and the cycle just keeps on going. Nothing out there in medication world.
They got to make money too. It's a business, right?
That's it. They're between their overhead of their liability insurance, they got to see 50, 60 patients a day easily. That's why you're always waiting in doctor offices. They're just making a living. It's really what it comes down to. It's very tough in New York, so it's not easy. But
every doctor I been to says, Smalley, you gotta take high blood pressure. I said, I got what do you mean high blood pressure? They want me to have high blood pressure. The other pills, I go, in Europe, they're like 400. They're like 200 over the thing, and they don't take anything. What do so I never took anything. Never, not one thing.
yeah,
But I struggled a little bit. I eat a lot. I got up to 280, 286. I was about a month ago. And that's eating everything under the sun. I'm not going to lie to you. Kit Kats and Yodels, cupcakes, frozen pizzas out of boxes. I'd eat my good food. I mean, literally.
you don't say no.
Literally, I eat everything under the sun. And I can eat. I can definitely eat this. I mean, I can eat a gallon of chocolate milk. I mean, it's crazy.
The American
So
way
how
is
would you,
not-
Ronnie? How would you describe what is a peptide? What are these peptides? What is
a
it?
peptide?
Exactly?
Is a chain of an amino acid. So in essence, it's a protein, and every part of an amino acid has, whether it's a couple of blocks or let's say 50 blocks or whatever it may be. I don't know the exact number, but part of the amino acid is a signal to the body. So, for instance, if you have an injury, use BPC 157. It figures out where the signal is that needs some healing, and it brings blood flow, nutrient, and oxygen to the healing area. And then if you add another peptide called TB500, it starts doing the repair. So it's all about a signal. That's all it is. And as we get older, from 35 on, these signals tend to slow down. So if you think of it like a heartbeat, a pulse of a beat is normal as a normal beat, but once it slows down, it doesn't work as well. Obviously, if your heart slows down, that's not something you want to be a part of. But in essence, these signals just slow down and go away. Part of getting older in this world is grow old gracefully, right? So your body's testosterone drops, your signal in your body slows down, you can't lose weight. You look like shit. You have a spare tire around your midline, and I was there a year ago, so I could say it. But, your hair looks like shit, your skin looks like shit. That's the way it all happens. That's normal decline. It's only because the signals in your body are getting older and weaker. And if you can amplify these things and wake them up, I like to use an analogy. It's very simple. When your boss, whether you're a blue-collar worker and you're at a desk all day, or you're a white-collar guy and you're on the, blue-collar guy and your foreman standing above you, or a white-collar guy and you're at a desk and your boss is standing behind you, when he's in front of you, you're going to work your ass off. So it's right to the computer, doing all your work, hammering the nails. The moment he walks away, everyone takes a breath and they slow down a little bit. That's the analogy I like to use. Like, these peptides are the foreman. They're like, let's get back to work and do what we used to do the right way, and let's not age so gracefully. Let's get younger.
And how do they come? Like, how are they administered?
All of them are typically injections. Some could be utilized in an oral form, and some could be utilized as an intranasal. The best bioavailable and most of the fastest absorption is through the injection, but not all of them need to be used that way. The majority of the best way to do it is a small insulin syringe. It's like, here it is. Like, that's how small, you can't even see the quarter-inch, 31-gauge needle. You barely feel it. You get stung by a horsefly at the beach, hurts way more than anything like that. So it's simple.
Right.
Like some of them can be used in oral form. Mainly those are for the gut.
Wait, was that a needle?
Yeah.
That was a needle. It was little, though. It was tiny.
Yeah.
I'm like Bugs Bunny. I'm afraid of needles.
No,
look at this needle, though. This is like not even the flu shot needles 10 times bigger than that.
Hey, Shay, I got Ralph Nader on the... I'm going to lose 40 pounds. I'm on her... I'm on my wife's thing. She just brought me home a Kit Kat.
This guy's going to eat a Kit Kat right now. This is great.
Let go! Let go!
Muscles is walking in, dropping off a Kit Kat.
This is what he needed.
She's got muscles. I used to get a bag of Kit Kats. Now she got me one. They're trying to help me. I got to give them credit. One Kit Kat.
This is amazing.
Yeah, one Kit Kat.
Hey, Nada, I can eat a box of Kit Kats.
You can eat a box of anything.
They're like
But
support, right?
Ronnie, how often do you have to take the injection?
Yes, it depends on, again, all peptide related to whatever one you decide to choose or which route. Most of the time, it's a 5-day, 2-day off kind of deal. Some of them are 3 days a week. Some of them are once or twice a week. It just really depends on which ones. But the majority of the popular ones, the ones that most people get into, is a 5-day protocol, off 2 days, a little micro break from signaling, and then a micro break from just pinning injections. But typically 5 days on, 2 days off are most protocols. And then you run these things depending on, again, which one in a cycle, so 3 to 4 months. So when I work with my clients and my friends or whoever it may be, we attack 3 goals. I always ask them, what are your 3 goals that you look for? Like, it could be cognitive, improvement. It could be brain fog. It could be energy. It could be weight loss. It could be fat loss. It could be muscle building. And then we attack those three goals in a 3-4 month cycle. And after that, go to the next thing.
Hey, what about? I'm sorry to interrupt. What about the Kadaka? The bottom part for sex.
We had that too.
The Kadaka. I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
I call it the Kadaka.
There's things out there. So remember, peptides are also, some of them are FDA approved drugs, and it's still a peptide. So there's a lot of them out there that are FDA approved drug, but it is a peptide. So in that aspect of it could be made in a lab. It could be made at a compound pharmacy. really, if I was a chemist, I'd go to my garage and make them. But I don't obviously have the equipment. But you know, it's very safe, very clean. Solves a lot of problems, and typically once you get started, you don't stop.
How expensive is it? How expensive is it, Ronnie?
Yeah. Again, it's peptide to peptide, but when you go to a compound pharmacy, so I started this journey. Maybe I should preface this real quick by explaining. So last year I tore my Achilles playing lacrosse. I just took a bad step. It was very freakish. I didn't realize it even happened. It didn't even hurt. I wasn't even in pain. Even after the surgery, I really wasn't in pain. And what happened was I wanted to get back on the field. How do I get back to my life? How do I get back to work? How do I get back to the gym? And peptides kept on popping up. So, I was very, like everybody is in the beginning until like now, but 8 months ago, people were more skeptical, and I was one of them, and I was like, I'm not doing this. And then, everyone's got a breaking point, and I say it to everybody. Everyone's got a breaking point till the day they're like, all right, I'm doing it. So I went to a men's health clinic. A shout out to Atlas Health in East Meadow, very good. And there's another one all the way out in East Autauga that I use too, Refined Medical. And you sit down, you talk to these guys. These guys are talking about goals. They don't worry about like modern medicine and all that. They want to help you. You tell them what you want, your goals, and they give you some ideas. Anyway, for healing, it was BPC, TB500, and something called tesamorelin for stubborn visceral fat and belly fat. $1,200 a month out the door. I said to myself, I'm going to give it a month or two and see what happened. And every subsequent visit to my surgeon, every 2 weeks for the first couple of months, every time I went back to him, he was like, "What? I don't understand what's going on. Like, how are you remodeling so fast? How are you able to move this well?" And I explained to him peptides, and he didn't really understand at the time, but his PA kind of heard about it, so he, nodded. Every time I went, same thing. I can't believe how fast you're healing. Can't believe how fast you're healing. Within 3 months, with John Amato at physical therapy out east in Oakdale, Legion. He's been my PT guy since 2014. He had me running on a treadmill in month 3.5 on 4.0. Like that's. Wow. I'm not a professional athlete, but I accelerated healing so fast that I was able to move forward, and that's how this started. So the cost was a thing. So after a couple of months. After 3 or 4 months, I'm like, this is getting expensive, and obviously $1,200 is something for health. It's affordable for the time being, but over time, it just wasn't happening. So I had to start looking in other places, and it takes you to the gray market. Now, the gray market is just below the pharmacy level. As long as it's lab tested for a number of different things, it's extremely safe, just like it would be from a pharmacy. It just doesn't have an FDA stamp. But I don't know about you guys. I don't care about the FDA. I probably shouldn't say that, in public, but so I started looking into it. One of my friends was selling them, and he got it through a reputable retail site. And after a while, weeks and weeks, I said, okay, I'm going to switch because I'm saving a fraction of the money. So those three peptides that were $1,200 at the time 8 months ago, which is probably more now, are only $350 for 3 of them. So it's a third of the price because you're eliminating. When you go to the clinic, you have to pay the clinic, you have to pay the doc, you have to pay the pharmacy, and then you get your peptide. So 3 or 4 people are getting paid. Here, I buy wholesale, and I get them at a bulk volume discount because I'm buying so many now that I'm able to bring down the price and give it to it at a more affordable price. So, in essence, a peptide can be anywhere from $80 to $200 on the high end. Mostly they fall in between the $135, $150 for a month's supply, depending on, again, what peptide it is.
So when you say the Atlas, you said what was the name of the place?
Atlas Men's Health, and the PA that owns it is Singh. He's very knowledgeable, very good guy. He started the journey.
When you see most of the people that are attending there, are they mostly people that are coming back from surgeries, injuries, and things like that, or is it weight loss type people, or what is it?
Yes, so that's a good question. So, like when I was going there, so this is almost it's a year now because I tore my Achilles this time last year. So at the time, I'm way behind the game already. People are in there already that already are jacked up, they're strong, they're in shape. Then you have people that are just getting started. Peptides have been around for so long. It's just years and years and years ago, they weren't accessible to many people. Only the elites could afford them, I guess. But now they become readily available, and I was years behind the game. A lot of people have been on these things for so long that, it makes sense that, like,
Yeah, the gray market, like you said, that's really interesting.
been around.
Affordability is now for the average mainstream guy could go in there, like Dave Palumbo talks about it and stuff like that. It's unbelievable.
The funny
really,
thing is there's two parts to this conversation, this point. My prices are staying the same. I don't raise them. Now, with all the popularity, that $1,200 I spent, somebody went there that I know the other day, and it's up to $1,500 to $1,600 for 3 to 4 peptides. So it's not making it much more affordable. It's not approved yet, but with what's going on with RFK and they're bringing those peptides from deemed not safe to bring to the FDA, they still have a long road ahead that's not done yet. But if that gets approved by the FDA, those compound pharmacies and all these clinics are going to be able to charge even more a fortune, because now everyone's going to want them. And as that demand rises, those prices aren't going to drop. They're going to keep on going up. So, that's the other thing to look out for, because there's about 15 peptides on that list, and 7 of them just got cleared to be put in front of the FDA right now.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical companies are going in and clamp on it and make money on it. They'll figure it out.
They can't, though. That's the misconception, because a peptide is naturally occurring in your body. You cannot patent something that's naturally occurring in your body. So the reason why these aren't FDA approved, or Eli Lilly's not making anything but a GLP, use BPC 157 for instance. BP 157 has been around for ages. Why is there no human trials that are large, like an FDA approval kind of study? Is because if Eli Lilly, let's say, decides that I'm going to run $1 million, I'm going to spend $1 billion on a study, and 3-4 years we're going to have this as a drug. But when it comes out, everyone can make it. You can't stop people from making it because it's an amino acid.
Right.
So there's no money to be had in it, because they're not going to spend it not to make it in tenfold.
Wow. It's changing everything. We're on the.
So drug companies don't want it.
That's why the bodybuilders even.
Drug companies do want it, but they can't patent it. So you can't make the money that you want to make, so it's not worth investing in. So that's why there's gray markets out here, and that's the issue you have with the FDA clamping down on these things. It's not because they're not safe. It's because they're pharmaceutical companies, the big 3 or 4, who run the FDA with probably grants and funding, tell them, get rid of this, and that's why they're getting rid of it. There was no reason why the 15 or 20 on that list in the other administration were moved from safe to unsafe. If you look at the history of all these peptides, there's never been a call out of death, overdose, or any major situation to say BC is unsafe, move it to the unsafe list, and let's not compound these. It's pharmaceutical companies. They don't want them out there. They don't want them out there because it's solving problems. We're keeping people. I haven't been sick since November of last year. I haven't been sick once. I haven't needed any of my OTC medications, like my inhalers, my nasal sprays. I haven't used Tums. I haven't used Advil. I haven't used anything all those lines in almost a year, because I don't need them. And that's proof to me, like, it works.
Wow, does it get to a point when, if you, depending on your, like you mentioned, like for your injury, for the Achilles, are you only on the protocol for a time period, and then once you're off, then you're off?
Yeah.
Or is
cyclable.
Is there a
cyclable? Yeah, so it's based off goals. But for instance, for an injury like mine, or someone going in for pre or post surgery, the typical dosing for the protocol for when you're injured with an injury or a surgical procedure is you take it till you're done, till you're healed. But again, they work so well that you just lower the doses and you stay on a nice steady maintenance dose. It works just as well for bumps, bruises, those nagging injuries.
I guess that's really my question. So some of these things, there is a maintenance component to it where it becomes like almost like your vitamins in a way, where
it could replace some of them. But
you're just taking it.
But again, there's also some of them that if you utilize this, if you dull the receptor, then you want to take a little bit of a break from it, like a 4-week washout for some of these, 2 to 4 weeks, just so the receptor gets back to doing what it was doing before, so it doesn't count on the peptide. So that's why I also recommend a lot of my peptide for my clients is a 5 and 2, 5 days on, 2 days off, a little micro break. A micro break of 2 days over 3 to 4 months is almost a month. And then you could do a 3 to 4 week washout and start again for some, or switch to something else. That's why I like to do with my clients 3 to 4 months of goals, or a particular 3 goals. And then around the 3rd month, we start talking about, hey, what do you want to do next? What do you want to attack or go after next? And then we shift gears. Or they just take a break. It's really up to them. But most of the time, to be honest with you, in a month or two, these people like myself, you see a lot of good results, and you already say, okay, well, what's next? And then that's when I get the phone call and saying, this is working, obviously. What else could I do? Tell me I have other issues. I have this. And then you just go down the conversation of, and you're not going to shove a million peptides on somebody. That's just ridiculous. 2 or 3 at a time. 4 maybe is pushing it, but that's usually like a nice solid stack. As long as these things aren't redundant to each other or overlapping or repeating, then you can take them. It's almost like what we used to do back in the day with a Rip Fuel. We didn't take Rip Fuel and Excedrin at the same time because that's the same thing. We would blow up our heart, So as long as we do different pathways, different signals, and all meet the one goal, it's like, for instance, fat burning. You could take 15 different avenues to burn fat, and they're not redundant or repeating to each other, and you just get a better result.
Nate, how much weight did you lose?
So for me, I started at 225. I was probably like 24% body fat. I can move. It was good, but I decided that I wanted to take 10 pounds at a time. I was thinking my goal was going to be 205, 210. But as I got closer to 205, I was like, let me just see what 200 looks like. And then I was like, okay, let me see what 195 looks like. And when I got to 195, I said, you know what? Why don't I... let me strip this house down to the studs. Let me break it down and build it the way I want it to. So I got all the way to 181. I was like 9% body fat. Not worth staying there. It was just something I wanted to see. And then I started building on it. In the last 3 or 4 months, I added a cycle of peptides that allowed me to build muscle. And I'm about 191 to 190 right now. So over the time, maybe 40 pounds. With the bounce back, probably like 35.
That's awesome.
So I got a question for you. It's interesting that, look, we're all older guys. We consider, we're fairly athletic, I think.
Yeah.
I'd like to
I've
believe
seen you play. You're athletic.
Fairly athletic. Do you see any of this stuff with like for older people, for like the elderly? Could this be effective for them? Is there a way to?
Some of my clients are. Listen,
longevity.
Yeah, I mean, some of my clients are older in their 60s, 70s, and some of their parents are on them. If I live with my mother, she would be on a few of these. She just doesn't want to inject herself. So I don't have the ability to do it.
Right.
There are some pills that she could take, some oral ones, but she's not the best at taking those things too. And consistency is kind of key. But yeah, I mean, you got to also realize in other countries, they use peptides for medicinal purposes. Right? So we're the only country that doesn't rely on something that works. We go to medications that just keep us chronically ill. And that's just the cycle. I don't know. I mean, I just came back from Greece and I saw a bag of Doritos and let me try them. The first thing I looked at, our ingredient list for a bag of Doritos is this long and this wide. In Greece, it's this small and this small. So there's like 50 less ingredients. Like, why does our country do that? They don't want to. They choose not to because why? I haven't had the slightest answer, but we just want to keep people obese and sick. Yeah. So the answer to the question, there are things that slow down cognitive impairment. It's not going to solve anything with somebody with Alzheimer's, no, but it's going to slow down. And Namenda, the other drugs are so harsh for that. But there are peptides for cognition. There's a lot of good ones out there for sure.
Awesome.
They could have used his cognition running the box last week, man. Smalley.
You forget a little bit sometimes.
We're gonna get to that.
Running the box. Meanwhile, these guys don't tell you they both got thrown out of games before.
Not Steven.
These kids can't take being yelled at.
Maybe Vinny, but not Steven.
With a soft.
Wait.
I gotta get my protein drink. Hold on.
He's gonna wash down
He's
a
having
Kit
a
Kat with a
protein
protein
drink.
shake.
I think
This
I'm
guy.
Right.
He's halfway there. He's doing it right
Steven,
halfway
I think
time.
I'm the only guy who was I think I'm the only guy who was coaching in the pro league that got thrown out of a stadium. Although I
That's
wouldn't call
true.
it a stadium, it was more like a high school field.
So Ronnie, he did get thrown out up at Rochester. We were playing Rochester with the Lizards, and Vinny was coaching. He went over to see the guy at halftime on some controversial call that was happening in the first half. The guy said, "I've had enough of you. You're out." He went back to the side. They said, "No, you can't even be here." He says, "Where am I supposed to go?" He went up in the stands, and he was having a sausage and peppers sandwich, and people in the stands were looking at him going, "Weren't you just coaching on the side?" They threw him out.
Yeah.
I still think it might be the only one that ever got ejected like that.
Yeah,
How was the sausage and peppers though?
pretty
Was it
sure
worth
I
it?
am.
It was good, right, Rich?
It was pretty good, I gotta
Sausage and
say.
pepper
For
was good.
Rochester, it was good.
Good. There you go.
Yeah.
It was worth it then.
So, Nate, I gotta lose 50 pounds.
Yeah.
50 pounds.
Now, you might have the project of all projects. This could explode you. If you could do something with Smalley,
Dana.
if you
This
could
will
do something
explode you.
with
That's-
Smalley, you could end up like Dr. Oz after this.
Yeah. Well, it works. I'll put you on something that will work. It will work. It'll be slow, but it's gonna work.
That was a good one. Nah, but I tell you, even just, I'm hanging around 260, so I don't think I broke it. I didn't break it. I haven't got on the scale in 5 days. But like I said, I was up to 283. 283. And that was kind of heavy, man. And the thing I'm blessed with, genetics can only go so far. Anybody else ate what I ate and did what I ate, they could never last. I was going into the city with Vinny. We were going to a big function about a month and a half ago. We're going to a place called Gotham, a big place for the lacrosse dinner. And I'm walking. We get out of the train. We're walking. He looks around. Where's Smalley? I hear him. Well, I'm fucking sitting down. I couldn't even make it to the place. It was about a mile and a half down the road. I had to sit down. But my legs
Mile
were
and a
so
half?
hurt.
It was literally 2 blocks. Mile and a half? It was 2
You got
blocks.
2 blocks. They're calling a mile and a half.
Well, they're long city blocks. But I was hurting. I couldn't believe it, man. And I got a little bit of back pain. Nothing was ever wrong with me. Nothing ever wrong. No injuries, no nothing. I'm not. Just I kept eating and eating, and now I'll be 68 years old. So I'm big. I haven't seen my penis in about 6 years.
God. Oh, God.
Funny.
A little less than that, but
I truly believe,
But I get
I truly
about 4 years
believe-
I gained the weight.
no, I truly believe with Smalley's past history with working out and everything and how he was built and all, I think if he really got serious and he went to you, Ronnie, and he was
Yeah.
consistent, he would get back down in good shape. I think he could get down to 210,
Well, I
220
definitely could. I got
easy.
muscle under it, no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
I mean, you got to realize too when people
Okay,
start
but the
spending
question
money and
is, why don't
investing
you
in
do it?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, it's like anything else. The food tastes so good when it's going down.
But it's not gonna. But this is the one thing: is your body. If the engine is going, and Ronnie can correct me if I'm wrong. If the engine is going, it really doesn't matter so much what you eat. Maybe you can't be, totally crazy, but you can eat rather well and still just get that
I'll
furnace
do
going.
much better though, Dave. I don't eat till 1 o'clock every day. So even to lose the 18 pounds that whatever I lost, I'm still probably 265 like that. But I was almost 285.
I
like
think
that.
we should use
I got
Smalley like they
skeleton.
used to have. They used to have the Pepsi challenge. It's going to be
Yeah.
the peptide challenge, and we're going to monitor Smalley. We're going to
Listen,
do a
I'll be honest,
GoFundMe
I'm
page
up for that challenge.
to finance
I'll,
him.
I'll change it.
Now, Nate, you're not a Long Island kid, are
Yeah,
you?
yeah, of course.
Yes.
Where do you
Oh
live?
my God! Were you listening in the beginning?
I can't hear. I couldn't hear him before. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't hear.
You couldn't
Where-
hear.
I'm in Amityville
couldn't
now.
hear. We're going to work on his hearing too.
We have stuff for that.
Man, all right. I already feel like I
You
lost
didn't hear him
50
say he
pounds
went to
already.
Calhoun. His whole family went to Calhoun.
I didn't know he still lived
You
here. I
didn't hear
heard
that?
that part. Yes, I
Hey,
did.
lives in Amityville.
now, yeah, right?
So he's close by.
Yeah. You just got to say the word, man.
gonna
That's
be
all it
fun,
comes
man.
down to. Like I said before to Steven, it might not be now, might not be next week, but everyone's got a breaking point, and when that day comes, that's when my phone rings, and it happens to everybody. I have conversations with people all day long. I don't know. No pressure. When you decide, I'm here. Call me, questions, concerns, whatever. And then eventually you get it. You get that text message or phone call. Be like, I'm ready. I have to do it.
I'm never going to forget you my whole life, I tell you, because I always assemble somebody with somebody famous. I already have him as Ralph Nader. Remember the guy that invented the machinery? You know what I'm talking about. Ralph Nader. He knows.
Yeah. He
But I'm
invented
psyched, man, to get
machinery.
started. So when do I get started, Vinny?
Project
ASAP.
Smalley. When?
You got to make an appointment.
How does he get going? You got to make it. We're going to make an appointment. We'll go out to Amityville, go see Ronnie, and we get all your goals out. Where you want to be. What do you want to get down
I gotta
to?
lose 50 pounds. That's ain't no bullshit.
50 pounds.
50 pounds I gotta
It's
lose.
doable.
I'm already fasting. I don't have to eat till 1. That's when I start. So I already dropped about 20 altogether. Probably 265, 267 like that, you know. But I was close to 285, maybe 284 like that.
I'm a little nervous to ask
Yeah,
what happens
I was-
after 12 o'clock.
I was breathing like a horse that night.
It's not good,
I mean,
man.
no joke.
It's not good.
It was the heaviest ever. But I got first thing I got to be honest, man. I told you I ate everything under the sun. It didn't matter. I ate everything under the sun. You know.
Well,
You can fix a little of that, and then a little help will get the engine going, and then, listen. The most important thing is to have your health.
Steven,
more
will
than
you help
anything
me out
else.
a little bit?
yeah.
We'll go meet him one day. We'll start
Yeah.
Yes.
next week or the week
Yes.
after.
Yes.
You know what you should do,
It's even
Steven?
better.
I don't know when our game is
So
next
Ronnie,
week, whatever
Ronnie,
day that is,
this,
maybe come out earlier.
Is this like your full-time gig now? This is what you're doing?
This is potentially in years from now to be that. No, I spoke about it before slightly, but I work in pharma, but I work in a pharmaceutical company that sells a long-acting injectable for schizophrenia. So this is not, people chronically ill. This is solving problems. So it's an injectable that resolves and brings people down from schizophrenia, and that's a
He could.
big sickness.
Smalley could use that one too after what he did in the
Hit him
bottle.
with that
What he
too.
did at
We're gonna
Cadillac
dose
last
him
week.
with that. We're gonna dose him.
He might have
Give
to
him a
eat
double
that too.
dose of that.
Yeah, stab them.
Steven, there's people that listen though. Just so the fans know, we aren't here kidding around a little bit. We have a good friend on here explaining things. So you got to tell the fans because they're all fans. They come from all different walks of life. So that's all.
So
I
the
do
other
appreciate-
question, this is a little bit more critical question because Vinny kind of went in that wheelhouse. So you're in the pharmaceutical field to some extent. There's these things. Who are there besides Atlas? Are there rules in terms of like who can administer these things or get them or create the protocols, or any individual doing their own knowledge can?
Yeah, I mean, I started off seeking, references and and then obviously from Atlas, and then also the Redefined and East of Talking. It's out there. It's general knowledge, but you can look into it. But it's better to know somebody. Like I've done for a year now. I've tried pretty much. I can't say 90%. I'm just gonna say 70% of peptides, at least the popular ones. I know what it feels. I know how it does. I know the dosing. And the only issue is we're not really in the research world supposed to be talking about dosing. Like I can't hand you a prescription and say do this, but I have alternate sites that have that information on. Do I text my friends some information? Yeah. Anyone I give a GLP-3 to, which is the best thing out there right now, is I work with them for 4 to 6 weeks on a weekly basis, and it kind of sets themselves in the right direction because I want them to have a really good result from it. And there is some titration, meaning you have to go up slightly here and there. But another thing, all these peptides and doses are way below what even some of them that are FDA approved. Like, these are, and the best thing about it too is you have the vial, right? So if a dose is not good enough, you can go up a little bit. You don't have to follow a protocol where it's 2 to 3 milligrams higher. Maybe you get a benefit from 1/3 of a milligram, and then you keep that going. The other way too. So say, maybe it's too strong, or you don't feel the way you're supposed to feel, and it's too much. You can always go back a little bit too. But again, these peptides are at such low doses; they do their job at 300 micrograms, 500 micrograms, which is like 1/2 milligram. There's such low dosing with these that they're relatively like easy to use. It's not very difficult. I guide people in the right direction. Again, I have a resource that's off my website that has some dosing protocols in there that are suggested. Everything's suggested.
I remember
Well,
when I took.
I got a question. Stephen. I want to ask.
Go ahead.
Is there an age that you won't go below? I mean, how does it work? Like, let's say you got a high school kid. He's looking to gain a little advantage or something. Is it okay for the kids to get on the peptides?
So this is going to be
teenagers. I'm talking.
Yeah. So this is a great question because I field a ton of these all the time. So there's certain peptides you would never give a teenager or a young 21-year-old because of, their body is already doing it already. They don't need to overdo it because then it's going to shut it down slightly. There's some peptides they can gain benefits from, like the healing peptides and some like copper and stuff like that. They're, just so you know, and this is, the lacrosse world because I'm in it. These kids are doing it. Every one of these kids is doing them. And not all of them, a lot of them. Because I get the phone calls, I field them, and I know where people play and what they play and what division they're in and all those things. And my theory on that is I give my best advice, and then if it comes down to something I feel secure enough to that the age is appropriate, for me, they're going to get it from wherever the F they can get it from. And that's not good in my opinion. Like, mine is tested to where it needs to be. So if it comes down to that, I will give my opinion. And again, I'm not an expert and not a doctor, but if they're going to, if like a parent asks me about the kid and what they want to do, and I'll give my opinion. If it's something I feel confident enough that it'll be good for them, I'm probably going to move forward and get it to them because they're going to get it any way they can. They're going to get it their buddy out of the locker room. They're going to get it their buddy at the gym. They're going to get it off a website just because it's cheap, and that's not the way to go because if it doesn't have a certificate of analysis, if it doesn't test for sterility, purity, endotoxins, heavy metals, and it's mainly identifying what it is, it's not worth risking. Do I think every peptide out there is pretty okay? Yeah, but I'm not going to put something in my body. I'm not going to put it in my brother's body. I'm not going to put it in my niece's body, my best friends, and all those people out there with a clean conscience, not knowing that they've been rigorously tested enough to inject. So to answer that question, Vinny, yeah, they're out there, and there are certain ones that they can. Good.
Yeah. Is there, Ronnie, like a blood screening you could do for that? Like, is there, like, let's say
I
if
get
you
that
did
question
like
a lot.
some kind of
So
blood screening?
the answer is you don't need to. Is it good to have? Yeah, I mean, you should do blood work every 4 to 6 months anyway, just for PSA reasons and stuff like that for a guy. But I get that question all the time. What I tell people is I would like you to get a blood test. This way we have a baseline. I can show you in 3 months some kind of results. Maybe you don't feel to see it, but just to show you. So a baseline is not necessary. You could start and still get a baseline test. But if you had blood work, 3-4 months ago, we can go by that. But again, you're doing blood work to protect yourself from all the other things first. But I do like to have some kind of baseline to go by to say, hey, like, the scale moved, but look what happened to your A1Cs. Look what happened to your LDL. Look what happened to your inflammatory markers. They're all dropping, and that's a great sign that this stuff works, and that's part of it too. It's not just the exterior; it's all what's going on in the inside. But again, Vinny, those kids are doing it. They're getting it from somewhere, and they're doing them. All walks of life, every sport, every division.
Are they doing it for injuries? Are they doing it for muscle? What are they doing?
Yeah, most of those kids are doing the healing blends and copper. That's mainly the what they're looking for, is just because they want to get an edge of recovery, and chronic injury or maybe even acute injury, something they want to move past. They're doing BPC 157, they're doing TB 500, they're doing GHKCU, which is copper. Some may look for the ones we spoke about before that amplified GH pulses. But again, it's at that age, unless they're not growing and they're tiny, and that would be maybe an idea, because that's what these are made for in the FDA world. But I think they're...
Look what Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, when they had that home run battle. It wasn't a peptide. It was more on the pharmaceutical higher end. They were taking stuff, tons of stuff. Barry Bonds.
I mean,
there was a company
is
called
is a peptide considered? Is a peptide part of the steroid world, or is it something different? That's
anabolics.
From
That's gear. That's anabolics. Again, naturally occurring proteins in your
that's
body.
More that.
And they take a chain of it, whatever the number of the chain is, that's the signaling part of the protein, and that's what you're injecting in your body.
I mean, Alex Rodriguez, they were playing 180 games a year. They had to be on it, all these guys. Not peptides, they want other stuff to make them go longer in the game and stuff.
If you think these professional athletes...
would have been on it, but they got caught in all the scandal. He was on his way of getting it.
Do you know, that's a great question, Ronnie. Yeah. Like, where are like some of the major sports or like the Olympics on peptides?
Well, I was going to say, because we were brought up, if we're naive enough to think that these athletes, especially in the off season, aren't on these things, like, how does Aaron Rodgers tear his Achilles and 3 weeks later jogging around the Meadowlands throwing a football around without a boot or anything? You know, he's getting pumped up full of these things, bringing the inflammation down, and at least he could be able to walk. I mean, they're definitely on them. They don't. You can't recover this fast from these major injuries, especially at this high level of athletes that they are. I guess they have the best trainers and everything in the world, but if you don't think those trainers are pumping them up with like all these healing blends, I think we're being naive a little bit. I mean, they've had access to them for years.
These bodybuilders were also guys like they were also guinea pigs. Even though they were guinea pigs and they were getting big, they kind of didn't know what they were doing either. But a lot of these regular doctors that went into bodybuilding would ask bodybuilders, hey, how did that drug work? How did that work? How did you get big? How are you taking the cycle? So they, even though the bodybuilder is not right and was on bad stuff, he knew stuff by being a guinea pig and helping out the world of doctors, regular doctors, to understand how they got big off the steroids.
Yeah, well, that's you know, I don't want to compare it. A doctor has...
No, not comparing that. It's a whole nother...
What I'm saying is the doctor has clinical experience. You hope your doctor is not just going by the book and saying, this is what I have to do. Oh, cough, I got to go here. Running eye, I got to go here. You want them to use clinical experience of what they've learned over 100 patient types with the similar symptoms and what worked and didn't work. Very similar to what that doctor would do in anabolics. What worked for you? How did you dose it? When did you do it? What are the protocols? And same thing here. The beauty of, again, the research world that we're in, this is considered the research world, is, again, you get the vial. If I tell you to do 1 milligram or suggest you do 1 milligram, certain peptides you shouldn't go over, but you're your own research rat, right? So, like, there's no wrong answer here. So I always get the question, like, what should I do? And I will always write back, well, what do you think you should do and why do you think that? And then you kind of go from there because, again, you're just researching, you're doing it yourself. And there are some standard protocols, but again, what works for Steven might not work for Vinny, and what works for you might not work for me.
I like it.
Very interesting.
I think it could help. I think it could help Smalley. I think Smalley...
that's not even a challenge.
He's on. This is the challenge, Smalls.
So
a lot of people are looking out for you. We want to see you trimmed. We want to see you trimmed down to your early Levittown days, to your Long Island lacrosse.
Hey, Steve, let me ask you a question, Dana. See these guys, you know, one of the things he's been doing, I've been consistent of like 250, 260, like that, right? I never dropped all that weight. One of the things that these guys do, and I'm not picking on them, whatever, they're constantly seesawing. They're going to 180 to 230, 180 to 230, like that.
Don't say constantly. It's not constantly seesawing. Constantly
but
seesawing.
They are doing it. My other buddy, Fat Matt would go from 340 all the way down to like 220. And he did that consistently over 20 times. I can't even attack it. These guys don't do it as much. They just started dieting. But they've done it 2 or 3 times like that. But I'm saying the weight loss and the thing that he's been on, I actually think he's on something now. I don't know what he's on because now I see him in pictures. He's back down to like 220 again.
I know
He's
what he's
done it
on.
over 10 times, the guy. Like that. But he's definitely on something. I don't know what it's on. But
So
he goes
you-
to the doctor.
Everybody out there is on. Anyone that looks different than they used to and they're our age, there's
Good
no
call.
magic silver bullet out there, man. It's the peptides. They're just not telling you.
Did how long was Bab like to go down?
Babs
What he
started.
went
Babs was a hustle. It was a lot for me, not to push him, but to answer a lot of questions. It took him a little while. So I want to say, before you saw him this summer, he was just like dropping. Like maybe 4 months, 4 months, 4.5 months. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other guys that like,
him.
I don't want to mention names, but like, they come in this door. I'm like, wow, what the hell? I can see it in your face. It just.
So it's happening. It happens relatively quick.
yeah.
They have, just like if you're dieting, you're gonna lose it.
Yep.
If you're, there's a lot of ways to lose it pretty quick. So you would imagine it happens fast. It's all about
already
the
cut-
discipline, Smalls. You gotta have
I
discipline.
already cut it down. I don't eat
Well,
till 1
what-
o'clock.
what the-
That was one thing I
the,
cut
the
out.
plan would be is, and I'm not going to say the name of it, but is the GLP that Eli Lilly has right now in their final stages. It's going to be $1 trillion drug next year. It's going to be unaffordable. And what they're finding, besides the rapid weight loss and sustained weight loss over a long period of time, they're finding in all these sub-studies what it's doing so well. It's like, for instance, brings down so much inflammation from your joints everywhere. Inflammation down.
That's
Rheumatoid
it.
arthritis down. Ovarian cysts down. Cancer cells down. Like, it's just doing so many crazy things that's going to make this more than a weight loss drug next year. It's even going to be used in addiction therapy, because when you get to certain doses, and it's all dose dependent, the GLP-3 makes you not think about food. It also makes you not think about the other things. So I always use me as an example. Love beer. Always did. I look forward to playing lacrosse and having beers afterwards. One more with Johnny. One more with this guy, right? I haven't had a beer since November because it made me not think about it anymore. Do I have cocktails? Yes. Do I have 3 or 4 drinks, when I go out with friends at dinner, maybe 2 or 3? I can't have any more. It just shut that all off. I haven't had a beer since November 4th. And it's only because the GLP-3 in my brain said, you don't need that anymore. And it worked. I don't think about it.
Do they have a GLP in pill form or just the dosage
The
for the
GLPs that are in pill form right now are the older ones, and they're not worth taking, in my opinion. The tirzepatide, which is GLP-2, is worth taking. But if you're going to ask me, and I can show you my refrigerator, I have hundreds of vials of tirzepatide, because my supplier is force feeding me them at a really cheap price, because nobody wants it for now. That is what everybody wants. Everyone wants retatrutide. Everybody, because of what it does. The thing that it's going to do is, Ozempic, we talked about it before, carved everybody. Made you look like a skeleton. That's all it did. Cautious and made you look like a skeleton. Tirzepatide, which is GLP-2, reduce some of the nausea and reduce some of the starvation. So you can eat, but you can't eat a lot, right? And it also started helping with the nausea. This one, it's a 3 because it has 3 receptors. We're not going to get into the crazy science about it, but one of the things that it does, it tells your body to stop storing fat and burn it. So metabolically, it's nutrition partitioning, insulin sensitivity helps out with that. And again, we're programmed from when we were cavemen to hold on to fat. We eat because we're hunter-gatherers. Now we got to look for food. And there's days where we can't find it. So where are we going to get our energy from? The stored fat, right? We also had, if we walked outside of our cave and we saw a saber-toothed tiger and we didn't have food for a day, where are we going to get the energy to fight? We're going to get it from stored fat. We didn't really know weather either, so when it got cold out, we either froze to death or we had fat on us to keep us warm. We have all that information now. We know what the weather's going to be. We know how to fight saber-toothed tigers. We have a different animal out there nowadays. And again, we don't need to hold on to this fat. We burn it. So in essence, the body's exercising without feeling like it's exercising. It's burning fat at the cellular level. And then it slows down gastric emptying. So you feel the signals from the stomach go to the brain, say, slow down, you're full, don't eat that much. Simple. Calories in, calories out. burning fat at at the cellular level, and then the food noise is the biggest thing. You don't think about food, so you have a better relationship with food. You learn how to eat a normal sized meal. You don't look for seconds.
Portion
You don't
size,
look for
yeah.
the Kit Kats. You don't look for the cookie. You don't look for the ice cream. You're satiated. You're good, right? So all those things in that big snowball of effect brings out fat loss, weight loss. It's a crazy. Again, next year it's going to be $1 trillion drug. It's going to be used so much in varying ways.
So Lilly's going to come out with that first, right?
It's theirs
And-
already.
and
It's done.
What about Merck?
It's done.
And is it-
All the trials
Wow.
are pretty much done. It just takes a couple more months to do the final paperwork to get it on, get it out. And that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to find a way to make it non-compounded. They don't want any. So, brief little history. So the only reason why Eli Lilly allowed GLP-1 and GLP-2 to be compounded at local pharmacies because the demand grew so much and they didn't have the supply. So instead of losing money, they decided to open it up to compound pharmacies to allow them to create it to keep the flow going of the demand. And that opened up the floodgates. Once you allow people to make it, anyone can make it. So that's what they're fighting right now. They're trying to figure out a way to make it a biologic and make it like a 7-year patent. And it's going to be very tough to do that, but the FDA may side with them with the right amount of money. But regardless, I can go in my kitchen right now if I was a chemist and go make that. It's a protein. I mean, I can't do it, you know that, but I'm just giving you an example.
If Lilly passes that thing and Lilly starts selling it, are the other peptides going to be hard to get because they don't want to manufacture
No,
them?
because people are still going to do it.
pep-
Yeah, people are still going to do it.
They're still doing it on their
Yeah.
own. Okay.
All you need is a lab. You need a chemist and a lab.
Wow.
That's all. And then you create it yourself.
Interesting stuff.
Well, we got a challenge.
You're
We got a
back,
challenge
Smalls.
ahead
You're
of us.
back. You're going to be coming back soon.
We might have to get this going and get
Playing
on the
hoops
pod every
with
couple
that.
weeks to just check up on you.
This has got to happen. This has got to happen because I worry about Smalls. I hear about those stories of him trekking 2 blocks in Manhattan and not being, or going from the parking lot in Canada at Caniac and carrying a box to the field and then being,
Winded.
exhausted. It's
My legs hurt too, though.
Yeah.
The back of
Yeah,
my
I can
legs
take
hurt.
care of it. I don't know what our next
we
game
gotta
is,
get
maybe,
him
Steven.
back.
Maybe you bring him
Gotta
out.
get him back.
Maybe you bring him out to.
All right, we're starting soon. Anyway, we're going to go out there. Nate, we're going to be out there. He'll come out with me. We'll go out there. We'll do a luncheon.
And then Nate is
My
going to
last
be bigger
luncheon.
than he's going to be bigger than U.S. Steel. He's going to be bigger than Dr. Oz when after
I'll lose it easily.
Thank you for spending time with us and explaining it all. Thank you, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Appreciate
anytime.
it.
You let me know when you want me back to go over it. But I want to get this guy going because just in general,
Still got muscle.
I'm with Steven. I'm here to help. I love to see all the success these people have, all my friends and family members. I mean, both of my nieces have changed their lives. Right? Like literally changed their lives. They're different people now because of the weight loss. And could people lose it at a young age? Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of work. But again, it's just, if you're not into the gym, I can't force you to go. But if I can make your life better, I don't know. I find a lot of appeal in helping people in this journey because, again, I use me as an example. It has changed my life drastically. The worst thing that happened to me, which I thought was the worst thing, wound up being the best thing that happened to me. Because if I didn't tear my Achilles that day, this coming year, because I had a bet with my cardiologist a year ago, I'd be on a statin. I'd be on all the shit, everything. I'd be on it all because it changed my life.
Yeah, that's fucking great. Listen, Dana, I love the story. These guys were great advocates of yours, pumping me up, whatever. I'm a hype guy, but I'm a realistic guy, man. I've been in the bodybuilding world for 40-something years, with knowing everybody in the bodybuilding world, and it doesn't matter. I was eating like crap. It don't matter. You know the deal. People get fat even in bodybuilding. You can know everybody under the sun, but like I said,
Well, they're
in
the gear world and the anabolic bodybuilding world, they're doing Retta to shred at the same time as they're building. They're using it.
It's unbelievable. These guys, how big these guys would get for contests. I used to go to all the shows. I'm very close to all the guys, from all the different gyms. almost every gym. My brother's in phenomenal shape. The guy's in Peanut, right? Really, Mr.
Yeah.
G, my brother.
He works out all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Serves. He'll be 69, I think, like that. Whatever. How old are you, Nada?
I'm gonna be 50 in November. Big 5-0. Big party.
Yeah.
So you're coming back and playing?
Yeah, I played
North
one
Shore or
game.
what?
So I played one game when you weren't there. I played Crease Attack. My mind was a little bit like iffy. I got open a bunch of times, but I did have to go over the midfield line and go play defense for somebody. And listen, it's just a mental thing. It's been a year. During CrossFit classes every day, I'm running, jumping, doing all the things. It's just differently on the field. But I just went to my last my appointment with my surgeon. He goes, "You are graduated. You are way ahead of the game. Just go do what you want to do." So I gotta just get that
great.
mental block out of the way and
That's
just
good
do
For
it.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, listen.
Thank you so
Steven,
much for the.
I think we
input.
have to. I think we have. We spent a lot of time because this was great, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad Ronnie spent the time with us. I think we're gonna have to do another show and call it a wrap for tonight. Do our shout outs and all, and
Yeah,
get
yeah,
another show
definitely.
on some
Without a
some
doubt.
of the lacrosse stuff.
Yeah,
we
we
got
gotta-
to catch up on.
we
We
got
got
a
to catch
lot-
up on
we
the
got a lot-
PLL. We got to catch up.
Yeah, we got this week. We're supposed to head out to the Italian tryouts for their world team
Nice.
and
Yeah, we'll
and
do a
take a
little
look at
report
that.
from there.
And we got
Jimmy Muelle's the head coach. Can you believe it?
Awesome.
is he? Is he?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, he's coming off
Where's
three.
the tryouts at
He's
Hofstra?
coming off at Cold Spring Harbor. He's
Okay.
coming off 3 championships in a row at Lake Placid, which is an accomplishment. Ronnie, we won the 2 in a row before the MLO started, but 3 in a row, that's pretty good. Teams are great. They keep coming every year, stronger and stronger.
course.
So that's not easy to do, to win that tournament 3 years in a row. And,
Give us a shout out,
yeah,
Smalls.
PLO is.
Shout out,
Usually we
shout
get to
out
this.
to
We
my-
get to the shout outs. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Shout-
Smalls.
Here's my shout out. Shout out goes to my mother. I saw her yesterday. She's going to be 93 years old. She's thriving, strong Irish woman. Her house burnt down to the ground last year, which is a whole crazy story. But I saw Mom the other day. She's in great shape. She's looking to go to, she still drives, does everything. She's a remarkable woman. And she's going to the casino in Connecticut. What do you call that casino? It's called Foxwoods. She loves gambling and everything. God bless the woman. Every time I see her, I get an uplift. I said, Mom, I want to live as long as you. 93, still going strong, driving everything. She was blessed with genetics, like
Yeah.
that.
God bless.
And
She's
I think
inspirational.
I can live to 90, but I got to get back in shape now. That's another, my family has longevity. They have a lot of longevity, I just got to lose that weight, at least 40 pounds.
Yeah.
But I'll be all right. But that's it. That's my shout out to my mom.
How about you, Vin?
I'm going to give my shout out for one of the former Garber Gorillas and UMass greats who passed away. I don't think we had that conversation on the show about Jimmy Weller passing away. A great guy, fun person, phenomenal player. I do believe in the annals of UMass lacrosse, I think he still ranks #1 scorer, and you got quite a few greats there, counting, Brooke Sweet, Mark Millen, Hiller, Scotty Hiller. You got a lot of big scorers that went through those programs, but I think Weller still might rank as #1. And it was just a real sudden thing. Very sad to lose a guy like that. He was a fun guy, like I said, to be around. But I just want to shout out and tell him rest in peace, because we're going to miss him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Steven,
tough
who do
one.
you got?
Well, I'm gonna shout out all my North Shore boys. I'll be back with them next week, but I'm gonna shout them out because really that's what got this conversation going. I saw some of those guys and I said, you know what? I see a lot of guys in the lacrosse world when we're going around and playing different places up in Placid, and I see a lot of guys struggling, and I give them credit for the fact of how they can even get out there, get up there and play, myself included. There have been years up there where I've struggled. And, knowing that to see some of those North Shore guys be able to use the science and trim down and feel better and feel healthier and see not only play better but just be healthier is a great thing. And so I'm going to shout them out because some of those guys were the reason why I said I got to get in touch with Ronnie. We got to know about this. We got to have a test experiment with Smalley because he's the guy I always have my eye on, and I want him to be around for a real long time, and I want him to get trimmed up and get him ready.
Yeah.
And we'll get him out on the field soon once he trims himself up. Get on that face-off circle, right?
Yep.
So that would be my shout out. My shout out is to all my North Shore teammates. Ronnie, who do you got?
All right.
Ronnie, you can pick multiple people if you want. Doesn't have to
I'll
be
jump
one,
into this
whatever
one.
you
I'm
do.
going to make it easy. I want to shout out you guys because you guys put some funny content out there. Instagram makes me laugh once in a while when I see you guys together, but good conversation. I like what you guys are doing. It's pretty goddamn cool. In general, I don't know, Steven, if anyone, I don't know if people are going to see this live or how it works, but if anyone needs me, questions, concerns, get my number through Steven. I'm glad to do a free consult, have a conversation with you. There's no pressure at all. If you want to check out the website, it's stack-science.com. The Instagram's out there as well, but if you guys, if anyone needs anything or wants anything, questions, concerns, all that, you get my number through Steven, or you can reach out to me through the website.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna in the clips. We're gonna put that your Instagram and the website
I
out.
might have to rename him Dr. N. I might have to rename him Dr. N, man. He'll take it to the next level. Man, 2-3
He
months.
can do something with you, Smalley. Forget it. He's gonna go
He
like
does
a
me
rocket.
forget it.
It's
He's
not
gonna
a
be
matter
like
of
a
if,
rocket.
it's just a matter of when. That's all it is with this
Yes.
Yeah, I love it,
guy.
baby.
It's a matter
love
of
it.
when.
You were talking about it. Little
All right.
Stevie.
We're gonna keep
what?
our eye on the
Later,
progress.
I got to give props to little Stevie. He was the little kid behind Vinny's wheelhouse. Vinny was making all these teams. He was like Squeaky, the little kid with the red hair. There he was. There's the little kid. He'd be everywhere, whatever. And then he was okay in lacrosse. Then all of a sudden one day, man, he's the best player in the world for the club team. He was voted #1 player in the world at one time over Vincenzo. More goals 1 year. He worked hard. These shows you work hard, you get better than the best. But good talking today. We're going to do great things together, man. God bless. Thank you.
We'll be back. We're back in our groove. We spoke to a lot of people. We're going to be speaking to Coach Scott Marr later this summer from Albany on all the things that he's doing. And certainly send us any messages of people you think you want to hear from and know about. So we're really excited to keep it going for this. This is our 3rd season doing this, Ronnie.
That's awesome.
We basically go on a calendar year. This is season 3. And, and now it's a
We
weird
picked the college games, by the way.
Yeah.
Nate,
I
we
see
picked
that.
the college
I
games
follow.
for the fans and everything. And I happen to be leading the 2 experts again. Somehow, I'm leading the 2 experts.
There you go.
I don't know
Well,
how
you're
this
leading
happened.
me. You're not leading Vinny, but you're leading me.
Well, I
this
don't
time.
know. Is he back?
He's still back. It's still. I'm going to put it up tomorrow, but it's you and the fans are tied, and Smalley is 1 game behind you guys, and I'm a little bit behind. I got to get going. These pro games make you crazy. You don't know 1 game to the next what team shows up. It's unbelievable.
Nate, you never know. It's a goal and a half.
Yeah, that's for sure.
1.5. It's almost every game in the pros. You don't know.
It's like hockey.
You pick somebody, you just can't tell. It's very hard.
A lot of good teams. All right. Well,
All right, guys, thank you so
we'll
much.
see
All right,
We'll
guys.
connect the next
Signing
couple
off.
weeks, Nate.
Hang on,
It's all right.
Ronnie. You stick right there. Let me see if I get it.